Hey kids, welcome to Lesson 11, While Loops, number 12, Writing a Loop from English. All right, it's your turn. Can you translate the English into code? This problem also involves an until loop problem. We have a do this. Take this statement in English and translate it into code. Write a program that simulates a rolling of two dice. Keep rolling the dice until the sum of the dice is either a 7 or a 11. Your program should display the results of each roll. Note, this one's a little tricky. Hint, in English we sometimes say or when in cold hard logic we mean and. And we have a sample output here. Rolled a 5 and a 5, sum is 10. Okay, so it looks like we have to write a dice game, so we're going to write something that looks very similar to what we've been doing these last couple of lessons. And it's going to keep rolling until the sum of the dice is either a 7 or an 11. They are right. This one is probably going to be a little tricky, but I know we can handle it. One thing I want to point out here in this hint, this is a very big part right here. In cold hard logic, we do mean and. So this is going to come into play here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and look at our code. They started us off with two things. Variable die number 1, which is going to be a random number between 1 and 6, and variable die number 2, which is going to be a random number between 1 and 6. We have two variables there. I don't know if this is exactly how I would do it. So I'm going to approach this a little different way. I'm going to get rid of these variables here, and I'm just going to start from the top. So let's go ahead and look at our statement here. We want to write a program that's going to display two dice that are going to keep rolling until the sum is. So I'm going to need three variables. We'll take care of this random part in a bit. Variable 1 is going to be die 1. And that is going to be equal to -1. Remember from our last couple of lessons, we set it to a negative number so we can get into our loop. That means we're going to have a die number 2 as well. And this is also going to be equal to -1 so we can get through our loop. And I'm going to need a third one. This one's going to be sum. And again, we want it to be -1 because we want to get through our loop once. Why do we need a sum? Well, we are rolling two die until the sum of the die is either 7 or 11. That takes care of my variables. What do I need to do next now? Well, I need some sort of while loop. So while, and this is where I have to look up there. So I want the sum of this to be not equal to 7. And I want the sum not equal to 11. Now, why that? Well, back up here again, we want to keep rolling the dice until the sum of the dice is either 7 or 11. Keep rolling until. So that's going to be our exit part. When it hits a sum of 7 or 11, it'll go outside the loop, but it's going to keep rolling until the sum is 7 and 11. Don't forget your little brace on the end here. Well, what's going to be going on in that loop? Well, we want our die number 1. Well, we have it down here actually. We want to do our random numbers. So let's just move this into our loop right there. And die 1 and 2 are going to be random numbers. So it's going to keep rolling as long as it's not 7 and 11. And once we do that, we need to get the sum as well. So let's get our sum is going to be equal to die number 1 plus die number 2. At this point, we want to make sure we write what the sum is because we need to output it. So our results should display let's do write and rolled, and then we'll do plus die number 1, and then we'll do a plus, a little space there, and coming back here, we'll go to plus die number 2, plus, and a space here, and our plus sum. Put a part right there. There is one error here we have to take care of real quick. So it's saying, hey, really is expecting some other stuff here. You wanted an identifier and you saw something. What we really need to do is we need another little parentheses here, and we need to kick sum out and handle that one differently. We also need a quote in there. Let's just make sure our quotes are good. And oh, we need our is part right there. There we go. Now everything is looking the way it should. We also want to write when we're done. We have our brace there, and we're just going to write done. Make sure this is in quotation marks here. Oops. And that, I think, is our program. We have 3 variables, die1, die2, and sum, all set to -1, so it gets in the loop at least once. We're going to say, while the sum is not equal to 7 and not equal to 11, we're going to keep rolling. And then we're going to write rolled a die1 and a die2, and then we're going to tell what the sum is. Once we get to that part that we are keep rolling until the sum of the dice is either a 7 or 11, then we'll write done. It was a lot. Let's go ahead and try this out real quick. Run. Looks like we need a little space after our is here. And rolled a 2 and a 3. Oh, once we rolled a sum of a 7, we stopped. Let's reset and run again. A 5 plus 6 is 11. And we're outside the loop. 6 plus 1 is 7. So we are outside the loop there. Very interesting little thing there. Sometimes this throws off the students quite a bit. So when you think through what you're trying to do, think what the program is trying to accomplish. Just one last time. So what's happening here, this program is running as long as the sum is not 7 and 11. If just one of these sums is 7, it kicks us outside the loop. Rolled a 1 plus a 6, that's a 7. This is no longer a true statement, so we exit the loop. Our program is working exactly like it should. We translated this plain English statement into some really fun code down here. And I think that's all Code.org wanted from us. Let's see if they want anything else. Nope. Good job, kids. I'll see you on the next lesson.